Everybody, how you doing? Joe here. So I mentioned in our first time back video that I made this epic fail with our dog run. Now, sorry I forgot to record the beginning of Elijah and I doing this, but our dog run ran from here all the way across to here, and this beautiful shade tree behind me is actually a very heavy producing mulberry tree. And these little guys here, these fresh mulberries have been falling, and they've all been falling in Chief's run. And so he's been eating them like crazy. It has not been good for him. It makes him kind of sick to his stomach, so I've had to clean that up several times. So I'm gonna bring you guys with us as Elijah and I finish cleaning up back here, and you can kind of see the process. We took him from having this whole side of the yard to this side of the yard. You can see it's a little overgrown right now. We're gonna take care of that, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so we've got this all cleaned up now. What we're going to do is show you exactly why we had to do this. We're just going to do a little experiment. Elijah and I are going to lay out a tarp. I'm going to shake these things that are right above me, and you guys are going to see how many mulberries will fall down in just us doing this one time. Okay, so Elijah, help me grab this thing. We are in what used to be Chief's kennel. Alright, so this was Chief's kennel. I'm gonna go grab a rake. We're gonna shake these branches and we'll see how many of these mulberries fall off. Alright. Here we go. So, we're not gonna do the whole thing, but after a couple seconds, I'm sure you guys saw, as much as we felt, the raining of mulberries here. So, I'm gonna have Elijah grab the camera and zoom in here and show you guys how much came off in just that little bit of shaking. Now, these were some of the smaller branches that we have in the tree, and that little bit of shaking kind of simulated a gentle breeze coming through here. So we're supposed to have a storm tonight, and you can see that right here, and this did not catch everything that fell. There was a lot that fell that you can see on camera. This is probably hard to tell here. Probably got a good 2 cups of mulberries right here without trying very hard, just kind of shaking the tree a little bit. This is what was going in Chief's run every day, and so this is what he was eating. But now that we've done this, we'll be able to harvest these mulberries, and I will have corrected that epic fail that I had. So let's see what we can do with this as we go forward. Thanks. All right, Chief, come on, buddy. All right, let's check out your new run. Are you excited? Are you excited? All right, guys, so we redid Chief's run. So this used to be part of his run, and now we closed it down to this. And he doesn't seem to mind a whole bunch. All right, go ahead. Okay, guys, so Elijah and I had to fix that epic fail I did with the dog run to be able to harvest some of the mulberries. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, even with the dog run being like it was, this is what we harvested. So this is a gallon of mulberries, and this doesn't even count what we've already done some stuff with, so we probably were able to harvest about 2 gallons of mulberries. Now, if we had not had my little fail with the dog run, I'm willing to bet we probably could have got at least 4 to 5 gallons of mulberries. So a 5-gallon bucket, that big, we could have had of mulberries. But that's okay, we know that for next year. But some of the things that we're doing with these mulberries, I've done a lot of different things. For those of you who don't know, I went to culinary school a long time ago. And so I get to be the chef of the house. And that's a lot of fun because I get to experiment a little bit. And some of the things that we've done is I've made mulberry pancakes, we did some mulberry jam, we did mulberry syrup, I even tried to do another mulberry cream thing that did not work, so we don't talk about that very much. But today I wanted to show you guys one of the easiest ways to take berries or even some of the other types of fruits and break them down into a syrup. It's actually pretty easy, and most people don't realize that you can save a lot of money. While maple syrup tastes wonderful, and where we live in Wisconsin, we're able to get some really good and really fresh maple syrup. But just being able to make your own syrup off of your own plants is something that's pretty amazing. So I want to share that with you. It's a really easy recipe. So I'll actually put in the descriptions of the recipe, and I'll tell you here. So we're going to use 2 cups of mulberries. So 2 cups of mulberries. We're going to use 1 cup of fruit juice. Now this one you can go in any direction that you would like for the fruit juice. I would recommend a lighter juice when you're going with a darker berry, and for a lighter berry, a darker juice. The reason for that is just the sugar content that's between the two and the pectins that you're going to get for thickening up your syrup. Then I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm going to add a tablespoon of lemon juice and about 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. So xanthan gum here, all this is a thickener and a preserver. So between our lemon juice and that xanthan gum, it's going to allow this syrup to keep for a pretty good chunk of time. It won't last as long as these preservatives will keep it here in our house, but that way you can use it for up to 3 to 6 months, keeping it in your fridge. It'll be perfectly fine. If you plan on using it really fast, if you've got a breakfast party or something and you just want to have that syrup available, you don't need to put those things in. It doesn't do anything to the flavor. We're really just using it as a preservative. Okay, so let's get all this stuff in here and I'll show you how we do it. All right, so here we go. Go ahead and get the fire on here. So you want to have it about medium heat. If you're using a electric, you just set it to medium heat. If you are using a gas stove, you want the flames just barely touching. Okay, you don't want it crazy, just barely touching. Okay, so about medium heat. I'm gonna go ahead and add everything here. Start with the berries. Okay, so it's 2 cups of berries. Now our berries are frozen. We individually quick froze ours. So hold them. All right, we're gonna do the 1 cup of fruit juice. We're using a pineapple apple juice. Our 1 cup of sugar. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of xanthan gum. All it takes. Add our lemon juice. All right, and that's it. We're gonna let this go. This will start to break down and liquefy. That's exactly what we're looking for. Don't disturb it and mess with it a lot. You can stir in the sugars if you would like to. Personally, I know this is gonna break down and all liquefy. We wanna bring this to a boil, and as soon as it comes to a boil, we wanna turn it down to a simmer. So rolling boil, as soon as you get there, we're gonna turn it down to a simmer, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get there. All right, welcome back. So through the magic of video editing here, now this is a boil. When you get those, just the crazy rolling boil, that's what we're looking for. Now I'm gonna reduce the heat. And now what I'm looking for is just a simmer. So we're gonna let this chill out for a little bit. So the difference between a boil and a simmer is a boil, you just get that heavy repeated boiling away. It's just, it rolls very heavily, it'll create this froth. But for a simmer, you're looking for the bubbles just to break the surface. What I want to do is I'm going to reduce this. So we put in about 3.5 cups worth of stuff. We're going to get about 2 cups out. I want to reduce this down. You'll be able to see the ring of juice right there. It'll go down as this starts to simmer. It's hard to say about how long that simmering process takes. It depends on where you live, how hot your fire is, your altitude. There's a whole lot of things that go into that. You could have it as quick as 30 minutes. It could take an hour. It could take 2 hours. The thing that you really want to be concerned about is you don't want to boil it too much, because we don't want to lose all of the juices and sugars. We don't want those to dissolve. I just want to take out some of the water, so we're going to gently simmer this so it's not too rough on the fruit. And you can see that even with only 1 cup of juice in here, we have a lot of really nice things happening. So we'll be back once this reduces down. All right, so we got that reduction we were looking for. It dropped about that 1/2 inch. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to blend everything together. Now the reason you have to do this with mulberries is that they have a stem that goes all the way through, and you really don't want to be chewing on that. You can, especially if they're really fresh, but in a syrup, we just don't want that. We just want the syrup itself, none of the fruit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend all of this together. Now I have an immersion blender that I use, which is a really fun kitchen tool to have. If you don't have an immersion blender, you can use a blender or food processor. Please make sure if you're going to use a blender or food processor that they're rated for hot liquids. If not, let this fully cool before you do that, or you're going to run into a wee bit of trouble. Okay, so let's get going to this. We're going to put the immersion blender in. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys, so here we go. Now what I want is I'm going to put the immersion blender in right below the surface and let it go. Alright, and that is all you have to blend it. Now let's check our sauce here, our syrup, and see how thick it is. Okay, so I'm just going with a spoon. Very nice. See how it coats the spoon? That's what we're looking for. Now, as this cools, it's gonna thicken up a lot. So what I want to do is we're going to strain this as we put it in one of our jars. Okay, so I'm going to just run it through a wire mesh strainer, goes right into a jar, and we're going to let it cool before it goes in our fridge. Okay, so what we did is we took a really big strainer over a big glass. Now we've got one of these really cool handle and spout measuring cups that's big. And so what I did was I just dumped everything through the strainer. And as you can see, I'm using a ladle here to just really go through the pulp. Take your time doing this. This is where you're gonna get a lot of your syrup going through. And you can see the pulp here. This is why we're straining it. All of those seeds, and there's some sticks here that came from the mulberries themselves. We don't want any of that in our syrup, so we're gonna go ahead and finish pressing this through, and then I'll show you what the finished product looks like. Okay, so we've got all of that stuff strained, and here we go. Nice, beautiful syrup. This is gonna produce about 2 cups of syrup for us. We're going in a 1-quart mason jar, because that's what we got. If you've got the little 2-cup mason jars, it would fit just perfectly. Okay. And that is it. We're gonna go ahead and let this cool. Then I'll put the lid on it. We'll label it and it'll go in the fridge. Alright guys, thanks for coming along as we made the mulberry syrup today. Levi, can you say hi?
Hi.
Alright, so here at our Scruffy fam, we really enjoy having our urban homestead and having the random things our toddlers say. Alright. Alright guys, now that Levi's done saying hi to you, we really are enjoying what we're doing here on our urban homestead as we're learning and we're growing. If you like what we're doing and you want to come along with some perfectly brand new people to this homesteading thing, hit that subscribe button, that notification button, and come along on this journey with us as we continue to learn and grow. I hope you enjoy the mulberry syrup recipe that we did today. And if you want to see more, you can follow along with our daily lives on Instagram at the Scruffy Fam and the Scruffy Mama. Thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye.